What would your reaction be if your partner told you, "I'll marry you if you lose weight"?
Ewan, what are you doing in my house? What are you doing in my swamp?
Do you want to see my downstairs mix-up? Every long-term boyfriend I've had has gained at least 10 pounds while we've been together because I love cooking so much.
Username checks out.
I mean, are you single? I could eat. Same goes for you. Let's hit the gym now since we're both fat.
Shrek.
Donkey. My ex had a food addiction and I couldn't hack it. I did love her for her, but I didn't fancy her in the end. I tried to help with diets and exercise since it had rubbed off onto me also. I was over 20 kilograms heavier than I was before I met her. Our whole relationship by the end of it evolved around this problem. We split up years ago, but now straight away I got back down to a healthier size. She tried to demonize me over it, but in my mind it was the same as a drug or alcohol addiction. It's not good for your health. My girl told me to lose some weight, but in my case I believe she had the right of it. Getting older, she told me she didn't want me to build a life, to have me die because of something I have complete control over. I think there are legitimate reasons for someone to have that as a condition to spend their lives together, but if their reasons are no fatties, then run away. They don't care about you. I'd probably eat them immediately.
I could lose 200 pounds right now.
I'll break up with them and still lose weight. What did the pandemic ruin more than we realize? This might just be local, but where I live, a ton of businesses closed. I mean, half of them were closed. Not just because of the shutdown, they were closed permanently. The health system is wrecked. Way too many nurses got burned out and left the profession. Not just nurses, paramedics got hit hard. At one point my paramedic friend told me 70% of their emergency medical technicians were on mental health leave at once. Edit, I'm seeing a lot of comments from medics that COVID was the last push for them to leave. How burnt out you are. The ones that are still there and struggling, from lab techs, nurses, and other healthcare professionals. To each and every one of you, you have my most sincere and heartfelt thanks for the jobs that you have done and continue to do, and I hope that we will eventually change the industry to be more in your favor. Independent, smaller, do-it-yourself music venues never really recovered. Everything about fast food restaurants is now totally unpredictable. It's impossible to know if a particular location will let you dine in. And it's also impossible to know when they'll even open. Schedules are wildly inconsistent now. I drove past a Burger King in a well-populated area near me that closes at 4 p.m. during the week and isn't open at all on Sundays. So strange.
Young people's desire to go into healthcare. We won't realize it for a generation or so, but healthcare in America was already chronically understaffed. The pandemic burning out medical professionals and discouraging young people from going into healthcare is going to have a negative effect on the quality of healthcare, not only in the United States, but other hard-hit countries too.
Any type of 24/7 business is just a memory. The cost of living is pretty Had a friend just leave medicine. She was an infectious disease doctor and during the pandemic she was worked to the bone. This compiled with having to bend to the will of the insurance companies. Time with patients, arguing with insurance providers on treatment for patients, and endless data entry. She had enough. Luckily her husband can support them both. But it's crazy that an ID doc during a pandemic would have to put up with so much and not see a single raise in pay or real acknowledgement of her and her colleagues' sacrifice through the whole damn thing. It feels bad that she committed decades of her life to practicing medicine and leave other things which should be easily remedied. Maybe not the insurance company part, but the others. What is something you will never tell your parent? I saw them more as a role model on how not to treat your partner. I got under the influence one night. I let a raccoon in the house because I thought it was my dog's. I got the raccoon out, but the raccoon ripped up the couch. I just flipped the couch pillows over. It's been a year, and they still haven't found out. How much it hurts me when they degrade my success. When I was 17, I was supposed to go to a cheer camp with the cheerleading squad, but after my mom dropped me off with the cheer coach, I told her I didn't feel good. My boyfriend came and we drove to Vegas that weekend. We both had fake IDs and had a great time. How my parents never found this out, I will never know. That I know my dad is not my real dad. I found old letters in my mom's things, but the man that raised me will always be my dad. A lot of things, actually. All the harsh things that need to be said, they just blow the heck up. Because they think that they can't do anything wrong.
I felt this. You're not alone.
I knew about my brother's stash because he kept it under the towels in our shared bathroom. But don't you worry, big bro. I'll never tell our parents that you have a thing for large black women that don't shave. Your secret is safe with me and the internet.
The secret is safe with us, no worries.
I put my fist through the wall behind my old bedroom door at my parents' house many years ago. To this day, they have no idea it is there, thanks to a strategically placed Star Wars poster that I never took down. I live in fear of the day they decide to remove it. What screams insecurity but most people don't realize? Insulting your friend in front of others to be cool. Back in my single days, a lot of guys who came up to me in bars and clubs and such would insult their friend to me, as if that would make me interested in the insulter. On the flip side, being open about your insecurities and really trying to overcome them is a great character trait. I see a lot of comments here branding common insecurities as red flags, and I don't think one should consider insecurities inherently evil. Being insecure doesn't make you a bad person. It's how you let your struggles control you that defines whether they are problematic or not. That is something I only realized as I got older. Everyone has their hang-ups. What I look for in a person is if they have the insight into their issues and they are working to make themselves better. Having no insight into yourself and your issues is bad, but not as bad as having the insight and refusing to change your behaviors for the better. Taking a situation that was never about you, or had you involved in it, and somehow making it all about yourself and playing victim, even though you had to meddle in it and make yourself the victim.
My wife's boss fired someone recently and has been going on for 3 days about how hard it was to do that, even calling my wife at home to profess her broken emotional state over it. Girl, you weren't the one who got fired before Christmas, and you could have waited the 2 weeks if it is so much on your conscience.
I had a friend who would get insecure when my wife and I wanted to leave his house before he wanted to go to bed. Like, dude, it's 11 p.m. on a Wednesday and we live an hour away. Just because occasionally we're willing to stay till 1 doesn't mean we can today. He would blame my wife for his leaving, and eventually he built up enough unspoken resentment to burn the whole friendship down. What's far more dangerous than most people realize? Falling in your home. When I was a volunteer firefighter, you wouldn't believe how many calls were from people who had fallen in their homes. And it wasn't just elderly people, injuries ranging from broken hips to lacerations to concussions to broken necks and even a death once. My stairs are steep and shiny. Every trip to the bathroom is asking for trouble. Butt scoot down every time. And crawl up on all fours! Butt scooting down the stairs is so satisfying for some reason, especially if they are carpeted. They say the bathroom is the most dangerous room in your house. I assume because of slip and falls. So I always like to tell people be careful when they tell me they are going to the bathroom.
Retired paramedic here. 9 times out of 10 when we had a call to someone collapsed in the toilet, it turned out to be bad news. People having a heart attack or stroke often have an urgent need to be in the bathroom, as well as other types of cancers. Also, if they are straining, it can cause the symptoms to be much worse.
Drug interactions. Taking Tylenol, acetaminophen, and paracetamol with alcohol increases the risk of liver damage significantly. Grapefruit binds with the CYP3A4 enzyme, which leads to dangerously high blood levels of some drugs, like statins. Some antibiotics interfere with hormonal birth control, so discuss taking multiple medications with your doctor or pharmacist. Adding Xanax and alcohol to this list. A family friend died last year after mixing the two, and I had no idea it was deadly until that happened.
Smoke. Do not enter a burning building. It's not like the movies.
Also, more people die of asphyxiation and the heat way before they burn. Fire needs oxygen to burn, so the bigger the fire, the more oxygen it needs to burn. If someone dies in a house bushfire, it's mainly because the fire starved them of oxygen. Also, sometimes people still have oxygen, but the heat from the fire has caused their bodies to cook. If firefighters die in their trucks while fighting a bushfire because they became overrun, where the fire doubles back, it's most likely the intense heat had cooked them inside the truck. Road rage! You think you're pissing someone off because they upset you too? But some people will pull a weapon and follow you home. I learned this when I was 16 and flipped someone off after they cut me off. They ran me off the road, tried to break my car window and threatened to kill me while holding a pocket knife. Thankfully, the window didn't break and another man in their car got out and tried to stop him. It was crazy. I drove away and called the cops as quick as I could. Now, if I see even a slightly angry driver, I just get the hell away from them, slow down, back up, take a long way home. I'm not dealing with those crazies. Some people are just waiting for the moment to release all the shit they've been bottling. Don't give them the chance. That's what I learned. You want to go 2 times the speed limit and get ahead of me? Go for it. You are not worth my time. Go back to your awful life. No one that is happy does crap that put others' lives in danger.
Or bite you. Road rage can get you into some wild situations. We had a patient who was in a road rage incident and a crazy lady bit the patient's finger off and then fled from the scene with it in her mouth. Patient did not get her finger back.
Driving when tired. I had a micro-sleep incident due to sleep deprivation. Read the entire syllabus the entire night before the exam for 2 consecutive days. It was but a blink of an eye, but the car almost hit a wall. I immediately sobered right after.
Moose! Moose are mean and fast. If you have to pick between a mountain lion and a moose, purring kitty is much better choice.
I was talking to a friend who lives in Florida about our region's animals. She's really scared of bears for some reason. You think bears are scary? You should watch out for a moose. Moose? Aren't they just a big deer? Let me put it this way. You're afraid of bears? Well, bears are afraid of moose. Exactly. Honestly, bears would disappear oftentimes before you know they're there. They can be skittish even. Not that you want to be bumping into bears, just that it's certainly not a death sentence. Moose, on the other hand, are used to literally trampling everything they think is a threat and will murder you even striking them in a vehicle. I'm thankful I've only ever bumped into one while camping, but I still went the other way when I had.
Thanks for listening and I hope that you have a nice day.
How dare you look at me like that?
No, please don't do it.